And that is why Steve McLaren is the best Reggae Boyz head coach since Rene Simoes. Facts. Facts. Welcome sports fans, welcome back to this or that Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting and everything sports topics, discussions and debates on the internet. But before I get into today's video, don't forget to like this one, leave a comment, subscribe to this or that Sports TV, and do one more thing, and that's to share the video to as many people as you can. Believe me, I'm gonna say 10, but make sure you get 6 subscribers, because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that would get us by the end after? Alright people, so you have to give praises where it's due. Them say what is to Caesar, give it to Caesar, you see me, or something like that. People, when a man do well, you have to tell him. As loud as you tell him when him do bad. You see me, and we as Jamaicans, especially us on YouTube, we're not afraid to tell them Reggae Boyz that when them now go on good, or tell these coaches when they're not doing well enough or playing up to our standards. So when them do well, I feel like we do the same, not even return the favor, even though they provided a favor to us. You see me? I feel like we have to stop, take a moment, and just acknowledge and praise what we saw from those Reggae Boyz. I feel like we have to. And not just what we saw from those Reggae Boyz, what we saw from Steve McLaren. Because people, dare I say it, that is the best football Jamaica has played in over 5 years. I mean, I ask nobody that. Definitely over 5 years, and some people can push it back further than 5 years, but that is the best football Jamaica has played in over 5 years. I mean, I talk as a young fan, I've been watching Jamaica since high school. This is the best football that I have seen Jamaica played in a while, people, and that is not a fluke. That is not just because the stadium did full, because it wasn't. That wasn't because it was some grand occasion, because it wasn't. We were already through to the next round. There was no special occasion, but we turned up, and by the way I mean Jamaica turned up and produced one of the best performances I've seen from a Jamaican team in forever, and so we have to talk about it. What was it? It was World Cup qualifying game, the final game of the second round of qualifying, where Jamaica took on Guatemala in the National Stadium in Jamaica, and Jamaica won the game 3-0. 2 goals from Warner Brown and 1 from John Russell. People, I have to talk about it. And this video is not even about the performance. This video is about the performance. This video is not even about the team. This video specifically is about the coach. And people, a long time when I say a Jamaican coach come out and use tactics as well as Steve McLaren did. And I realized something with Steve McLaren. Now, sometime him clock out of the games, you know. I feel like when we play teams where him feel like we're supposed to just walk over those teams, I don't see him as active. You see me? Me not see him on the touchline, me not see him do as much, me not see him move as much, I communicate to the players. But whenever we are playing teams that him feel like say we need to make a stamp against, that him feel like we need to put in a performance against, and we need to make sure we're in at the tie, him always up and about. And I see it not only just against Guatemala, I saw it in last year against USA. The 2 games. I saw it in the Unity Cup against Ghana and Nigeria, where he was on the touchline, he was barking out orders, he was telling them what to do, he was, orchestrating everything from the bench. And something like that from Steve McLaren. No, maybe it is hurting us, the fact that he tries to turn it on and turn it off. And maybe it is not a deliberate thing, it's more just a subconscious thing. I feel like he must make a deliberate effort now to make sure I'm on the touchline and I communicate with the players, because they really seem, whenever we have our best performances, that seemed to be a big part of it. The coach being there and not micromanaging everything, but make sure he's on the side of the pitch, encouraging the players, shouting out those orders, making sure him keep them in check, keep them in the game. You see me? So I like that from Steve McLaren. Now on to the game. Let's talk about the setup. Steve McLaren started with, I would call it a 4-1-2-3. That's what I would call it. Some people say 4-3-3, some might say 4-2-3-1, but I think, if I'm talking about how the players set up positionally, I think it was more of a 4 with 1 double pivot, especially when we now have the ball, 2 attacking midfielders. I mean, I gotta tell you why I said 2 attacking midfielders, and then we played with a left wing, a right wing, and a forward in Warner Brown. So we started with Andre Blake in goal, started with Amari Bell left back, Latibody right back. The two centre backs were Mason Holgate, Damian Lowe. In the central midfield, we had Isaac Hayden, then we had John Russell partnering with him. Some people would say that's a double pivot, but I don't think John Russell was playing as a deep midfielder. He was further up the pitch, but hey, we'll get to that in a sec. The third midfielder was Demari Gray, playing that number 10-ish position as an attacking midfielder. We had Ronaldo Cephas on the left, Liam Bailey on the right, and Warner Brown as our centre forward. And people that I didn't have much complaints about the starting lineup. I feel like, given the squad, that is the best starting lineup we could have put out there. All of our best players were on the pitch, all of the informed players were on the pitch, and the coach just did the brave thing, put all of them on the field and put them in their best position. If you realize, everybody was playing in their natural position. Well, not everybody, barring one person, but for the most part, most of the players were playing in their natural position. You're talking about Latibody, his best position is as a right back. And then his next best position is as a centre back. His best position is as a defender, and he was playing as a defender against Guatemala. Next, John Russell, Isaac Hayden, Damian Lowe was playing his best position as a centre back. Mason Holgate was in no midfield, he was playing as a centre back. Ronaldo Cephas was on the left, not as a forward. Liam Bailey was on the right wing. Now, I will say Demari Gray was playing in central midfield, and I don't think he had his greatest game. I think people kind of praise Demari Gray performance a little bit too much. But all in all, I feel like the coach set up the team well. And I was looking at it, right? Because I believe our best right back is Dexter Lembikisa. Dexter Lembikisa hasn't been putting in great performances for the Reggae Boyz recently, and so he deservedly got dropped for this game and started with Joel Latibody. But there was something that I picked up from the first game against the Virgin Islands, right, where I saw Lembikisa playing as an inverted right back, where he never did that overlap. He never get down the pitch like what we're used to. We used to that from a Greg Lear, Amari Bell, from a Lembikisa, from Javian Brown and him time in the squad, from Tavo and Gray. Our left and right backs try to get up the pitch a little bit, put crosses into the box. That is where we try to get some creativity from our wide areas, right? But I didn't see any of that from Dexter Lembikisa in the first game. Instead, I saw an inverted right back where he was, when we're on the ball, he was in the midfield, and then Richard King or one of the defenders would slide out and cover those right spaces to, cover the bases, make sure nobody's getting in behind, and providing some width for the team also, not staying narrow. And I wasn't happy with that. That was just the truth. Me link Joe Mara and I say, bro, what is this coach doing? It is so confusing. Dexter Lembikisa is nowhere close to being one of our best ball-playing defenders. He's not even close. You get me? I say Dexter Lembikisa, as a professional, still need to work on him first touch. Still need to work on him positioning. Still need to work on him awareness. Still need to work on him IQ. There's so much for Dexter Lembikisa to work on, to put him in the center of the pitch. And yes, it might be a tester game for him. It might be, let me see if he can do it. But I think that was a wrong move I thought that was a wrong move to be playing a inverted right back with Lembikisa going into the middle of the pitch. I didn't like it. And so I complained about it. I thought it was very confusing and it stopped the team from playing our best football. Also, whenever I complained too much about the Guatemala game, it was more the tactics than anything else. I didn't feel like we were wasteful or anything. It's just a matter of the tactics were wrong. And obviously the field play a part into that, and we were playing down to the opposition and all of that. This team is, that team that played against BVI was not a team that is used to playing with each other. It was a lot of changes. It's not the A team, as some would say. You get me? I say, enough of them and them never start, and some of those players are still getting used to the setup. You see me? So I'm not go mark with too hard on the Virgin Islands game, especially when I sit with it. After the game, I was very emotional, but the more I sit with the game and think about the game, I don't think it was an awful performance. Now, coming into the second game against Guatemala, I think that was a brilliant game. I don't talk about how good of a performance it was. Best game in over 5 years, and people probably are going to do some research and say, far back we can take it. I'm not going to say it is the best performance. I think it is the second best performance within the last 5 year span. I feel like that game where we in Canada in BMO field where we came back, I feel like that was just a special game, man. It was a Nations League. It was a game that meant something. We had stunk it up in the National Stadium the game before, and we needed a result, and the man them go in half time, come back out, and we come back against Canada, away to Canada. That was just a special performance. If I was supposed to say that what was the best performance, Reggae Boyz performance in the last 5 years, I would definitely say that that was it. And people as me say, me can extend it back to 5 years, but me not just one day I talk out the side of my neck. This game was the second best performance, you know. But in terms of style of play, in terms of intention, in terms of tactics, this was the best game that the Reggae Boyz played in over 5 years. You get me? I say so. Hope you understand what I try to say, right? This is, you know, a little bit confusing, because that probably can get a little confusing. No, in terms of Steve McLaren and that inverted right back, I feel like that unlocked so much for Jamaica, and that is why I'm going to say he's such a brilliant coach. Because the truth is, Jamaica lacks a great midfield. We are not blessed with great ball playing midfielders. We are not even blessed with great midfielders. We are not blessed with good midfielders. Over the years, we are good at producing defenders. We are good at producing attackers. We lack great midfielders. You get me? I say, and we lack gritty midfielders. We lack those that possess the duality to put in a rough tackle and then be a silky smooth passer on the ball. We lack that, and so I feel like every single coach that we've had over the years has been tasked with the charge to get that midfield right. You know, we see the coaches that try things, put them alone in the way I say, all right, them alone don't look too bad against the better teams. Cool. And put Latibo there in there, put Casey Palmer in there, put John Russell in there, put Isaac Aiden in there, put everybody in there. And put Mason Woolgate in there, put Richard King in there. He's trying to figure it out, and for that I have to give him some props. This coach is trying to figure out the midfield, because I'm telling you, it is the most important part of this team. Not only going forward, but defensively. You see me and him think, and they must say, yo, alright, we're blessed with defenders. Some of our defenders can play in the midfield, but they're not great midfielders. In fact, they're not even good midfielders. But they can do a job in the midfield. So instead of starting them in the midfield, here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a more naturally gifted midfielder, and then ask one of my defenders that can play in the midfield to make a positional change during the game. And I feel like that was brilliant from Steve McLaren. So we saw Joel Latibodia coming inside, similar to what Lemmy Kisa was doing in the previous game. And because Latibodia has the ability to make a pass here and there, he has the ability to keep the ball safe, you know, keep the control tight. Obviously, he's not the most mobile, even though he's short and his center of gravity is so low. He's not the most mobile. He doesn't turn well. He doesn't put the ball into spaces before him get it there. The first touch isn't always the greatest, but for the most part, him get the ball under control. You see me? And so he does a job in the midfield. And so Steve McLaren asked him to come inside, obviously give us some defensive security in the middle of the park, obviously with playing that you're going to give up the right side defensively, but it's a tit for tat, because if more people understand what this inverted right back mean, you know, if you have to think about it, if the right back is coming inside, that now means that there are more Jamaican players in the middle of the park than Guatemalan players. Now that also means that the right side of the field is empty. Now Guatemala have to take an approach where it is, we're going to pick our poison. So are we going to put an extra man into the midfield, that extra man would come from out wide? It would be the man that would be occupying the right wing, or their left wing, or right wing. He would have to come inside and follow Latibodia inside. You understand? And if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't come inside, what that does is he's trying to take up the space outside that Latibodia vacated, and Latibodia is now in the middle of the field, creating a lot of overloads, outnumbering the Guatemalans in the middle of the field. And so that was just a good tactic from Coach McLaren. And so that's from a defensive side of things and from a spatial side of things. Tactics wise, it's just asking them to make a decision to see what they want to live with. And I think, wrongfully so, they chose to live with vacating the right side of the park, and what that did is unlock Liam Bailey and gave us a whole different, gave Liam Bailey a whole different lease on life, which he took advantage of in the greatest way. But again, Latibodia drifting inside and then drifting back outside when we don't have the ball is a master stroke from the coach. Now, if we go up the pitch now, what does that one decision to move our right back into the middle of the park, what does that do? Because we see it happen with a lot of the greatest teams, you know. We see it happen with Man City over the years, where they use inverted wing backs, you know. You will see Akanji starting up on the right, our left hand coming inside. You get me? I say back in the day, you will see Zinchenko doing it. Arsenal do it with Party with you get me? I say you see a lot of these players, these big teams do it. And so he's trying to do it. No, will it work? I don't know, people. Long term, I don't know. You see me, but in terms of in this game, it was brilliant. No. How does this help us to score goals? How did Jamaica look so fluid going forward? How did Jamaica manage to turn this one tactical change in the middle of the park to the defensive third? How did we manage to turn that into a great attacking performance? And if you look into it, people, you have to think about it again. They chose to vacate the right side of the pitch along with us to drift into the middle of the park with Latibo there because of that him being inverted. That then created an opportunity for Liam Bale to face his defender one-on-one. Because people, and just from go up on a tangent right here, Liam Bale has been good for the national team. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but it is my opinion. Liam Bale has been good for the national team over the years. He has been good. You see me? A lot of the players that if we're just talking objectively, we don't know who this Liam Bale is. We've never seen him. We don't know which club he play for. If we're just talking about performance and contribution to the national team, Liam Bale is one of the best Jamaican players, just on performance. Now, if we're compare him to him standards and what we expect of him in the national team, we can't necessarily say the same. But I feel like people forget that Liam Bale is so crucial to us and just give us that added threat and allow teams to try to counter that or try to do something to stop Liam Bale from scoring goals or having a positive impact on the Jamaican team. No. That is why Liam Bale has been playing so bad, and that is not the only reason, but it is one of the reasons. Every single time Liam Bale gets the ball when he's playing for Jamaica, he's being doubled, and I don't care if he's playing against Haiti or I'm a play against United States of America, he's going to get doubled because they understand the danger of Liam Bale. They understand what Liam Bale can do when he get that ball. And so he's always getting doubled. And what that do is allow him to make fast decisions, which I can say Liam Bale is not great at making quick decisions. If you give him space and you give him time, he's going to hurt you. But in terms of making those quick, fast decisions, making those 1-2 passes and 1-2 runs, he's not the greatest. So when teams double him up and ask him to do that, he's going to lose the ball. He's going to be falling down all the time. He's going to, be absent in the game. And that's what we've been seeing over the years. But if we have Liam Bale 1v1 against anybody in a CONCACAF, he's going to have a great day. And that is one that inverted right back does for Liam Bale. It allows him to be free. Not only is Latibo there not bombing down the wing and trying to overlap, bringing an additional defender, that additional defender has to follow Latibo there. Only thing is he's not following down the pitch, he's following into the middle of the park. And so people that create 1v1 for Liam Bale. No, I think the biggest part of this inverted right back is not even Liam Bale. He's not even freeing up Liam Bale. I wonder if you can tell me where me I go with this. I believe the biggest impact that inverted right back had on this national team was freeing up Jonathan Russell. And that is why I said Jamaica never play a 4-3-3. You get me? I say obviously it's 3 people in the midfield, but we weren't playing a 4-2-3-1. I think we were playing a 4-1-2 and then go forward. And if anything, it have to be a 4-2-2 then, where Latibo there and Hayden was in the middle of the park. But John Russell was so far forward that me can't even call him a defensive midfielder. Like he was playing as an attacking 8. You get me? I say yes, he was more doing a box-to-box job, but he was bombing forward so much in that game. And that is what that inverted right back allowed him to do. Whenever Latibo there came into the middle of the park, that allowed John Russell to go forward. That allowed John Russell to pick up those spaces in between the forward and Liam Bale, in between the forward and Ronaldo Cephas, in between the forward and the midfield line. That allowed him to pick those pockets. That allowed him to cause the Guatemalan midfield and defenders to pick their poison again. Because who are you going to go to? Remember, we have an overload in the midfield. We have 4 players in the midfield at any given time, and if one of one drop, that make 5. Then somebody I got free. And a lot of the times we found John Russell to be free. And that allowed John Russell to use all of his abilities, people. I don't think John Russell is the greatest footballer. But I do think he uses strengths well. He's big, he's strong. He has great first touch. And most importantly, John Russell has patience and composure. And that is what we need in those attacking areas. He's not going to find that line-splitting pass or whatever. But he's going to make the right pass most of the time. He's going to put the pass where it's supposed to be. They get me? I say, and he's not shying away from taking a shot. He's not shying away from getting into the box. is going to be there, and that is what I appreciate from John Russell. And I think the biggest impact that the inverted right back had on our national team is allowing John Russell to do that attacking midfield role. I think we were playing with two attacking midfielders in that game, John Russell and Demarai Gray. And John Russell was the better of the two. And I think not only because he scored the goal, but because he was taking up so many dangerous areas, making so many good passes, making so many good actions that didn't always pay off. But he was in those areas and creating danger for us. And that is why I think Steve McLaren is the best coach this Reggae Boyz team has had since Rene Simoes. Yeah, they can't beat me now, they can't beat me now, they can't beat me now. They can't beat me now. But that is honestly what I think. I'm not talking about if he's going to be the most successful coach or manager since Rene Simoes. Remember, Tapa, people will be Tapa boy, but don't feel like Tapa was no joke coach. Tapa go World Cup finals and go Cup semi-finals and win Caribbean Cup boy, You see me? Tapa wasn't, I wouldn't say Tapa was a failure. He just failed when he couldn't afford to fail. They get me, I say, when the Jamaican fans grew tired of us not making it to the World Cup. It was just a bad time for Tapa, and the football was just a sight for sore eyes. You get me, I say, so don't get that wrong. In terms of tactics, people, in terms of having the team playing in a beautiful way with intensity, not wasting our energy and mindless pressing, people, this was just a good balanced performance from Steve McLaren. And I honestly think in terms of X's and O's, in terms of coming up with schemes, coming up with creative ways to beat teams, I feel like just this one performance from Steve McLaren got me thinking. And the last time I saw this was from Coach Aymir Algrimson when he applied that high press in the Gold Cup. I think it was 2023, if I'm not mistaken. We saw the high press for a couple of games. I said, I like the high press and win the ball high and attack teams and blah blah blah. We'll never see it again. You get me? I said, and then before that it was Paul Hall. You see me, where Paul Hall was trying to get us to keep the ball, but that didn't work out because we're not blessed in the way that we can keep the ball. But this coach, him get the team for sure much more maturity than we've seen over the years, much more composure than we've seen over the years, much more lethal ability than we've seen over the years. You get me? And he's not afraid to make the decision. Putting Ronaldo Cephas out there, put him out there. I don't care if Demarai Gray is supposed to be this world beater. Cephas a play better than him, put Cephas out there. You get me? I say? Dixon look dangerous every time he come on. Start Dixon over them, I could say. Alright, it never quite work out for Dixon. What about this bencher? Warner Brown has at it up right now. Warner Brown, you have a forward. Richard King is playing well. Richard King. You get me? I see he's not afraid to make the decisions, and that is what I respect about him. And again, people, I am not saying that this coach is going to be the most successful coach in Jamaican history. I don't know. Football is more than just the tactics that you have. But what he's managed to get out of this team is just remarkable. And as I say, people, we shout the disappointments from the top of the hill, so we have to shout the commendations from the top of the hill also. You see me? So big up to Steve McLaren. Good performance from the Reggae Boyz this international window. I look forward to this Gold Cup. Hopefully, it's not a one-off thing. Me just pray that this is not a fluke performance, and that we're not going at the Gold Cup. I will start to different things. I want to start say, oh, where is the inverted right back with Latibo there that we did say? Why you put back Latibo there in the midfield? As a starting midfielder and a play Mikisa? Why you do this? I don't want to say that. Hopefully, it is not a one-off idea or performance from this Reggae Boyz team. Keep the intensity going, keep the good performances going, keep the belief going, Jamaica. World Cup 2026, let's go. That is it, people. If you like the video, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to this side at Sports TV, and do one more thing, and that's to share the video to 10 people. But get us 6 subscribers, because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that would get us by the end of the day? People, are we that, Gone.